Larry, in your new book, The Founder's Key, you write, quote, "We cannot soon have a government that operates entirely within the confines of the Constitution," unquote. Now that's a very alarming statement, if true. We can't soon have a government that operates entirely within the confines of the Constitution. Why not? What's the status? What's gone wrong?
Well, we built up this huge entitlement state and made an enormous investment in it, and according to the strict meaning of the Constitution, it's unconstitutional. And all of the best attempts to reform it are themselves also, according to the strict meaning of the Constitution, unconstitutional. What are you going to do?
So you're saying Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Obamacare, the whole welfare state, and I guess you're referring also to a lot of the regulatory operations of the government.
Sure.
What are we left with under that theory?
Well, if you read Article 1, Section 8, there are 17 clauses, and about half of them, a little more, are about national defense. Most of the rest are about a national system of commerce and protection of property rights. And there's 2 or 3 about the federal government being able to operate on the space where its operations are located. That's the scope of the federal government, and there's flexibility in it for there to be changes. And there have been so many, though, that they go quite beyond any limits of flexibility. And so my own...
Do you think it's practicable to go back to that government, or have times changed with the changing government?
Well, so I guess what I think about that is, I think that we should undertake a gradual process of converting the entitlement programs into property rights of people, into accounts they own. Mm-hmm. And that I think we have to have a social safety net. It would be better if it were at the state level, but we have it at the federal level, and I don't know if we'll get rid of that. And so what would I do then, you might ask me?
You're only a university president.
Yeah, right. I would look at those 3 things that I think are the central features of the Constitution, and I'd try to get them back. I would have limited government, that is, I'd make it a lot smaller, and work it back toward the confines that it was built to be in. But above all, not big enough to overawe the society. See, that's the point. I think that limited government, I've heard you speculate about this a lot, and I think it's correct. In a war, goodness knows how big the government might get, and even safely get. Mm-hmm. But is it going to stay that way? It's a great point of Winston Churchill's that if you treat an economic difficulty like a war, you're always going to have unlimited government. He protested against that all the time. Mm-hmm. So, limited, not big enough so that the society can't control it. Representative. That means, that's the second feature of the Constitution, in my opinion. That means everything that happens in the government is traceable back and accountable to a constituency in America, directly or indirectly. That means the bureaucracy, for example. Like there's a really great law being proposed called the Reins Act. If the bureaucracy makes a rule that has over X amount of impact, it sunsets in 90 days if the legislature doesn't pass it, mm-hmm. and the president sign it. So back to lawmaking. And then finally, separation of powers. We need to fight our way back into our old clothes, and that means the president will execute, and the Congress will make laws, and the judges will judge. And instead, they all participate in administration in their various ways now, and they mingle their powers and authorities in ways that were not meant.
But as you say, you could only enact such a reform program with the consent of the governed. And so a lot of conservatives today are saying the people are the problem now. Yeah. The people are not interested in constitutional government of the sort you describe, and they're not interested in taking you up on your offer to privatize social benefit programs because, to get back to a theme of our earlier discussion, government has affected the character of the people, but not in good ways. Unlimited government has not been good for us.
Let's go back to your